video segmented based upon interview. All right, our next author is Joan. Uh, and Joan, and I'm going to have John introduce Joan.
We're delighted to have Joan Kloth-Zanard as one of our contributing authors. Joan's the executive director of PAS Intervention and the PA Consortium, and she's written a phenomenal chapter to the book. So, welcome, Joan.
Thank you.
I, Let me share her graphic. Um, your chapter is called Strengthening Co-Parenting and Family Bonds Through Resiliency and Executive Function Support. All right. I have, let's see. First question, what's the one message you hope your readers take from your chapter?
Probably that resilience is not something children like automatically have. This is something we have to build toward. And we can't do that in a divided family. You can't do that when parents aren't working together. The children just don't survive in transitions like this. They develop, and this is where they develop their executive functioning skills, their emotional strength to thrive. And the real payoff here is that children equipped to solve problems and regulate emotions, adapt to changes, and contribute can better contribute meaningfully to society. We are finding way too many children who are caught in these horrible custody conflicts are just drowning out in trouble and in trauma. In fact, there is a statistic that pretty much 90% of our mass murders are committed by people who were subjected to severe family conflict and custody issues.
It's so sad and it's so true because they've not really been able to they know what dysfunction and conflict looks like, but they don't even know what it's like to have peace. And
Correct.
I know that I've worked in the dependency area of court with foster children, and they experience that as well. They are not comfortable with calm.
No,
They
and they psychologically split.
Mhm.
So, and that's a big part of it. When they're psychologically splitting, they can't even determine right from wrong.
Yeah,
And that critical thinking skill is just not there. And they need that to survive, not only in life, but even at a job. They need, and to be socially acceptable and to behave, they need that critical thinking skill. And they don't have it if they're being torn apart.
definitely. So what is it? Why is strengthening co-parenting and family bonds so important right now?
We're at a really critical point where there is an increasing amount of research. And this research shows that the quality of a co parenting relationship is one of the strongest predictors of a child's long term psychological and emotional health. If they don't have this, they don't have the latter, that strong psychological and emotional health. Children, they're just experiencing at epidemic levels anxiety, depression, executive functioning deficits. And while there are other contributors, the one thing we do know is parental conflict and alienation are among the most preventable ones. So if we can strengthen the family, and this is going to help prevent those lapses. But also there's a growing misunderstanding that children are naturally resilient. No, they are not. You know, they're dependent on what the messages they receive from their family and their parents. This affects how their resiliency. So by strengthening a co-parenting, we're not just investing in the current family and the harmony that it can create, but we're breaking cycles of the trauma that is just destroying generation after generation. Literally, this is kind of an urgent matter if we want to have a safe world to live in. Because these kids, they're the future of this world.
Gosh, that's so true. So true. Um, it starts with us. I mean, making a difference and, you know, and just getting more and more people willing to be a committed stand for families to work. Um, and they even say that I know that back you focus that what you focus on is what you expand. Like
Right.
there's talk about like the war on drugs. Um, some people say that it failed, but it was instead of but we were focusing on squashing out drugs instead of illuminating sobriety. Maybe
Showing the
that's
positives of being sober,
yeah,
showing you're right. That is one example of addressing something in the wrong direction and having negative consequences.
that's right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Joni. Thank you so much for contributing for all that you do. You're a great asset to our strategic alliance and a great asset to this book project. And I appreciate you being part of it. And it's going to be another international bestseller.
I hope so. And I want to thank you for putting this together and all the work that you all have done.
Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to pause this and then bring in our next author.